everybody. This is Peter here with Real Estate Trends and Market Updates here with another episode. This is going to be a second episode within the week. I wanted to try to get more of these on the docket, especially as the market is ever changing and I hear different tidbits and or stories and see articles. I feel like that is when people are talking the most about the market and what the market could do. So we're talking about here one article from Blackstone's economist, and he talks about, so this is guy Byron Wien, and he talks about, he's actually the vice chairman of Blackstone's private wealth solutions arm. So he also cut his teeth as Morgan Stanley's top U.S. investment strategist, which gives him a little clout with having conversations about what potentially we could see in the market. But the reason I brought this up is because he's now sounding, the sirens for some type of drop in the real estate housing market and or the real estate economy, because he talks about a looming recession. So a couple of things here, and I would like to talk about them just briefly and give you guys some, context. But here, he flagged the threat of stubborn inflation, rising gas prices, high mortgage rates, stifling housing market activity, dwindling consumer savings, and the resumption of the student loans that are coming back October 1. I do believe the student loans is going to be an issue because it's going to ultimately put people into a bracket where they're going to have to pay more money for those student loans that they took out, and then ultimately put them lower on their debt to, the lenders are already doing the debt to income on actually them paying them, even though they haven't been paying them. But let's say someone's approved for, a mortgage that's going to be $3,000 a month, and they feel like that's suitable. Well, then if their payment for student loans is $400 a month, well, drop that to $2,600, and that knocks them out of, quite a bit of properties and puts them into a different qualification bracket for their ultimate feeling and how they think that that is going to be the best situation for them. So, and then obviously inflation, we're going to continue to raise interest rates. They're not going to go down as quickly as we all think. And I kind of did a video on that last week after the Feds met. So I think that all this stuff is very, very important to keep an eye on. And then also, I still think that we have an issue with housing and the ability to create more inventory. Yeah, we have builders, but there's a lot of people that are sitting with 3.5% interest rates and they ain't giving them up. So that's going to create this still stonewall effect of people not willing to sell their property because they're not going to give up that, or they'll just rent it out if the numbers make sense. So let's see. And then on the stocks front, he talks about like a double whammy is quoted for him. But if you look at it, okay, well, so if stocks fall 10 to 20%, yeah, then all of a sudden people are going to get more hesitant about jumping in the market. Well, then you got to be creative as a buyer. Like, okay, well, if the stocks are falling, then I'm going to go ahead and offer, 20% less on this property because I don't know exactly what's going to happen. I need 50,000 back at closing. I need, I'm just working on a deal right now where one of my guys on my team are submitting an offer and we went up, 25,000 over asking, waiving the inspection, and everything else. So that being said, we're going to be in a predicament where, there's going to be a lot of these homes still to date and going into 2024 where they're in high demand because no one has anywhere else to buy, or the size of the house, they don't have the same size, or the upgrades, or the school district, whatever that may be. I don't think we're going to have this huge drop in housing price. We may have a hit more. I believe that we're essentially in a recession right now because I can feel it talking to clients. I can feel it talking to friends and family and stuff like that. They're feeling a lot of challenges when it comes to their finances each and every month, where filling up a gas tank used to be $70 and now it's $120. So it's almost doubled. And those are different things that people face each and every day when it comes through Granted, I'm in California, so there's going to be higher expenses living wise versus someone that lives in Oklahoma or Ohio. They're still getting impacted the same way, with higher gas prices. They may make a smaller amount on their W-2 or whatever they're doing in business, but they're still getting hit with that inflation within that cost of living in that area. So let's say our gas prices here are $6, theirs maybe 425 or 450, whatever it is. I don't know exactly, and I haven't pulled it up, but they're feeling the impact because it used to be 350 and now it's 450, or it used to be 325 and now it's 450. You really have to think about that as a consumer, as buying a home, because typically the consumer that buys the home is a person that says, okay, I can buy this home, I can afford this, I would rather afford this than go rent something, and I can afford 3,000 a month or 3,500. But then those expenses continue to slowly creep up because inflation is still there, cost of living, cost of goods and services, and also vendors are still going to creep up because those vendors need to make a living. Their material costs are more money, their work is more, everything else that really combines into having actually living off what they're doing with their hands and or with their fingers and brain when they sit down in front of a computer, if they're running a business or they're in an office or something like that. And then to kind of wrap this up, so he obviously talks about the commercial industry. I think as we sit, the steep interest rates, I've said multiple times that the commercial industry is definitely going to be a scenario where they default or have some challenges. Interest or insurance, pardon me, is another situation where insurance is going up two, three, fourfold of what it used to be. And that's putting a lot of people and a lot of strain on investors that jump into properties that they, jumped in with a syndication, or a property that they thought that they could operate and ultimately they can't because the expenses and everything else. So with that being said, I think that that's going to have some trickle down effect. It's not going to be a residential real estate issue. It's going to be more of a United States issue, and then that may trickle down to less buyers in the pool. I mean, we're already 30% down. I've done a podcast on this. Like, we're already 30% down of activity for buyers and sellers. If that goes to 40% or 42%, it's going to be a world of hurt, especially for people that are in the residential space. So you got to continue to do things, be in front of people, have coffee, have lunch, have conversations with people that may be in the market in 6 months. And that might be when you're actually the one that needs to make that deal happen because you have no other deals in the pipeline. So continue the activity, because that activity is going to pay 3, 4, 5-fold in the next 90 days, 120 days, 180 days. So, and then one last thing, dude, I said, dude, but one last thing I would say is I came across this, and this is more for the residential lender side, but, I guess last year, in 2022, they took out where the seller has to pay for the termite in residential. The seller has to pay the termite on a residential sale. So you can waive that. I mean, it still has to be paid for because the lender still has to have that done as a VA product loan, but they actually waived it. So that being said, I love everybody that listens to this podcast. Please send this to somebody else that maybe, jumping into real estate, has been in real estate, needs a change of mind set, or, just really wants to get some more information on the industry as a whole, market updates, any type of articles that I come across, I'll share them on here. And I'm going to go to 2 podcasts a week as well, so I can really hone in on giving you, everybody here that listens, more information and more valuable information, so you can take that to your clients and or your investments and make the right investments, or have your clients make the right investments. Love everybody. Thanks so much for listening. I'll talk to you guys next week.